Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So we have a ton of stuff to talk about today. In a little bit, I'm going to bring on my guest for today, which is Margery Hanson. She is the co-chair for the Nevada State Green Party. She replaced me after I stepped down a few years ago. But we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the situation between Hamas and the Israeli military. But we're also going to talk about, the upcoming election, the tactics that our media uses to keep us all confused and disoriented and angry and stuck in fear and all of this stuff, and how that relates to you and how close we are to actually maybe possibly seeing some of this stuff start to change. For example, like I am really happy to see one thing, which is more people now that are starting to realize that the endless war situation has to stop. Okay. It used to be for much of my adulthood and, certainly my childhood, that it was a division of between the two fake sides of our country, the U.S., between the left and the right, the red and the blue, right? Now we're starting to finally get a grasp on the fact that, we are all one, right? And regardless of what political ideals you think that you have, right? What's starting to come down is the illusion that we have some sort of a difference, right? And so now you see even people on the quote unquote right who are now just as much opposed to war as that of the quote unquote left. Now, when I use that, I look at it like this. We really don't have a left wing in the United States. The left wing consists of us third party people, the Green Party, the Peace and Freedom Party, right? And you could argue the Libertarian Party, but I'm sorry, we already have free range capitalism. Free range capitalism always ends up in the same place, which is full stage fascism, which, believe it or not, like it or not, understand it or not, we're almost there. So the elephant in the room is the Israeli-Palestine situation that has now escalated, and they are calling it a war. Although, it's kind of when I think of war, I think of two sides, and this situation clearly it's like it's basically a bully picking on a little kid in a playground, basically. At least that's my understanding of it and what I've seen over the few years that I have been paying attention to all of this stuff. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. Margery Hanson is like I said, the co-chair for the Nevada State Green Party. Hey, long time no see. How you doing?
So far, so good.
Very good. Very nice. So I don't know if you heard any of that, what I was talking about, but I was speaking briefly about the situation in Palestine and how it's basically like a bully picking on a kid in a schoolyard, basically. It's not new. A lot of Americans don't even realize we've been funding Israel for I don't know how long, to the tune of about $10 million a day, giving them free healthcare, universal healthcare, giving them free college and things like this. Meanwhile, acting as if they are the oppressor when the death toll is so lopsided, it's not even close. It's not even close.
I understand that Hamas may be making their own missiles, which does not compare in any way, shape, or form to the multiple nuclear weapons that Israel has been provided with by America, or the munitions and arms they've been provided with by America. And our leadership stands by the bully.
Yeah, basically, and funds them. And it's like people don't realize that they finally started paying attention with all the money that's going into things like the Ukraine war, conflict, whatever wealth transfer, whatever you choose to call it. But the reality is that we have been sending financial aid to Israel for something like 20 years, 25 years, maybe longer.
Probably longer, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the United Nations. It was the League of Nations that decided to put the Israelites into Palestine. They drew up some kind of treaty, contract, whatever you want to call it, and put them there. And somewhere, I think it was around the middle of the 40s, that certain people decided to develop this thing called Zionism and decided to eradicate the Palestinians in any way, shape, or form that they could. And Netanyahu has taken it to a whole other level. And he's not even supposed to be in charge of anything right now.
No, and I have an article. Yeah, I have an article, actually. This is from the Jewish Voice of Peace. Let me just get this open here. Okay.
Well,
and
while
this
you
article.
Do that, I'm closing my door because my dogs are barking. And I'm sure you can hear
That's
them.
okay. Yes, I can. Let me find it here. It is right here. Okay, so now I'm just going to read a little bit. Now now the argument isn't about, like, I'm glad you brought up Zionism, because people don't understand what Zionism is. Zionism is the equivalent to like evangelical Christianity or like fundamentalist Muslim beliefs, where when people start getting into fundamental religion, it always does the same thing, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Judaism, whether it doesn't matter what it is, it always ends up to our God is the only God. You are lesser than we are, and we're going to make you know it, and we're going to stomp you out and get out of here. You know what I mean? And I saw an article today, I saw a video today, and they were talking about how Netanyahu basically gave them the option to leave, but then as they gave them the option to leave, they also shut down all of the exits. Yeah. So that's
happened,
insane.
But that happened quite some time ago. That happened right after the Egyptian Spring.
Right. And then all this other time, they've been cutting off their water, cutting off their food supply, not allowing any medical aid in. And it's just really, it is a genocide. Straight up. So on this article.
Point of fact, hang on, I want to point something out. Okay.
Sure.
If America was going to go to war with anyone, right? In my opinion, it would be a foreign nation that killed someone who was American.
Correct.
Okay, there was a 17-year-old boy on a flotilla, and this happened approximately 8 years ago. It might have been sooner, might have been a little later. But this 17-year-old boy on this flotilla went with friends, and I believe that the Peace Corps was involved in this, and he was murdered by IDF. And if any time, any place that we were going to go to war with anyone, that would be the reason. You killed one of ours. Not only that, an innocent boy. For what?
Yeah, but they get the pass. They get it's okay. We understand it was an accident. Carry on now. Yeah. And part of the reason is the other thing that Americans just don't know, or they don't fully have a grip on, is that our law enforcement is trained by the Israeli Defense Military.
Yes.
We actually send our police trainers over to Israel, and they go around, and the tactics that they use, and they refine testing weapons and testing all these tactics of submission and control, and basically it's like conditioning them to be subservient and conditioning them into slavery and conditioning them into just, take it. Right. And
Yeah.
then they teach our cops that, and the cops then they come over here, they teach our police force, and we wonder why we have such a high kill rate, right? And then the other thing that happens is then they stretch the definition of what a police kill rate is and all that stuff, and they name it other things so it doesn't have to count as a police count. And that's the thing where people are like, oh, well, there's only this many people, and yeah, okay, that's true on paper, but in reality, there's a ton of other ones that are going misreported because of the tactic that they use to qualify, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's just ridiculous. And so right now, though, I see it as this, like, the one thing that I can say that like somebody like Trump did that was good is he got everybody paying attention to this stuff finally. Whereas before that, it was just us. You know, it was just us who were going for the Green Party. It was just the few that were like, hey, there's something wrong with the climate. We got to do something. Our government's not doing this right. And they're getting away with that. And they're funneling money here. And so Trump made things so insane and so crazy that now people, even on the right, are starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, war's not cool, right? Where it used to be, it was kind of a separate issue, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, in this, I like this because it comes from actual, this is the Jewish Voice of Peace, okay? And it's talking about right here, following 16 years of Israeli military blockade, Palestinian fighters from Gaza launched an unprecedented assault in which hundreds of Israelis were killed and wounded and civilians kidnapped. The Israeli government declared war, launching airstrikes, killing hundreds of Palestinians and wounding thousands, bombing residential buildings, threatening to commit war crimes against besieged Palestinians in Gaza. The Israeli government may have just declared war, but war on the Palestinians started over 75 years ago. And that's what people don't understand. Israeli apartheid and occupation and the United States complicity in that oppression are the source of all of this violence. Reality is shaped by when you start the clock. For the past year, most racist and fundamentalist far-right government in Israel history has ruthlessly escalated its military occupation over Palestinians in the name of Jewish supremacy. With violent expulsions and home demolitions, mass killings, military raids, refugee camps, unrelenting siege on a daily humiliation, and in recent weeks, Israeli forces have repeatedly stormed the holiest Muslim sites in Jerusalem. Now, this has been going on for way too long, and we've looked the other way. And so now finally we have some eyes on the situation, right? And so what do you think, how Russell Brand today said something which is largely what I am angling at with my show, is that the solutions to this problem are actually kind of complex. It's not a complicated thing. It's not just simple like, let's go out and protest and let's, or something like this. It's more of like a start of just how, like, in the last few years, people have now started to pay attention, right? Now we have to understand the power that we each have as individuals, right? Which brings us to the Green Party and like Cornell West and Claudia de la Cruz and people like this, right? It's a shift of consciousness. It's understanding that we're more alike than we are different, and that the tactics that our media and our government and our corporate America, world corporate domination have used to keep us all wacky, right? Yeah. So what do you think? So now that we have attention, do you see a point where we can actually once again have like where we as a society say, you know what, we're going to shut down. We're not going to go to work. We're not going to buy anything till you stop the war.
I understand that there's been talk of reinstating the draft.
Yeah.
I understand that the number one, what word am I looking
Well,
for?
they've been threatening to do that for what, since Obama was in office.
No,
Remember?
this came out of somebody's mouth in Congress. I don't remember who. That's the word I was looking for. I understand that the number one export from America today is arms and munitions.
That's
I
all it is.
understand that corporations who are invested in making arms and munitions are making a lot of money off of this. And if we don't cut off their money supply, this will continue to go on and on and on. I mean, not like nobody doesn't know this. I'm a senior citizen, okay? In my off hours, I play solitaire. And there are ads on the side while this game is loading up every time I get a new game. And there, the military is actively seeking seniors to join the military and do service for their country. And
Oh,
yeah,
God.
no, I know. But, like my phone listens to me, my computer listens to me, chances are even my TV set listens to me. The thing
Sure.
is, obviously, whatever's listening to me, mostly Google, knows that I'm a senior. They know that I am. Okay. I'm not
Yeah.
unemployed, and I wish they'd get that through their heads. That is
Right.
Google, get it through your head. I'm not unemployed. However, to have, to be throwing ads at seniors to do their service for their country, especially
Right.
when they, like most of these people that they're addressing already served and don't want to go back for whatever reason, and they were talking about recalling people into the service who have served regardless of their age, because what they want to do is throw bodies at bullets. They don't care. They
Exactly.
just want to make money.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I look at it like this, and this is one of the things that I want to bring out to more people. Like through my getting sick and all that stuff after I left the position with you guys, I got really sick and I went through a bunch of spiritual stuff and I went through a bunch of family. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And on that journey, I realized, well, it kind of happened over time that whatever the saying that wherever attention goes, energy flows and results show. And what that means is like the more we go and say, well, I'm going to go buy guns and bullets, and doomsday prep and all that stuff. Actually, what we're doing is we are self-fulfilling that prophecy. We are envisioning it. That's all that we're talking about. That's all that we're thinking about. That's all that we're seeing. And that's a result of all of the negative crap that we see on TV, violent movies, violent video games, and including like horrible food, right? Because all of that together causes this big, huge blockage in us, starting from right here in our pineal gland. And we don't realize that we're doing all the work for these guys. We're the ones actually manifesting it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you talk about, we need to cut off their funds, we absolutely do. And I think one of our things is by talking more about the solutions, right? And getting people to understand that, it's time to stop focusing on the negative and start talking about the positive things and shifting our mindset and understanding that our energy and our focus is bringing these results,
We need a collective consciousness shift.
Yeah.
But see, here's
exactly.
I not to be Debbie Downer. The thing is that I don't know how to cause a mass tax strike, because that is the only way that we're going to stop funding this stuff.
That's
okay. I don't have any say-so over where my tax dollars go.
Right.
None
right.
whatsoever.
And that's
how do we make this stop?
And that's exactly what I'm talking about, is not only a tax strike, but like getting people, like we've got the Teamsters, we've got the nurses, we've got fire union, we've got grocers union. It's not, Bill Gates isn't driving tomatoes from the farm to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
He's not the one at the grocery stand who's going to charge you for $150 for your one bag of groceries now, right? He's not the one who is working at the hospital, right? That's still us, right? So
Yeah.
I believe that there is a way, if we get the unions to, because now we're starting to see a lot of effort with like unionizing, like Starbucks and the Screen Actors Guild. They just got their strike put away. And I think we're close to a point where we can get the heads of all these unions together and actually organize a way that we can do a prolonged strike as citizens. You know, I mean, how often now? Remember, they used to threaten government shutdown. It was only an election year thing, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to shut down the debt
Don't they
ceiling and
do
all
that
this stuff."
every election year?
Yeah, well, they're doing it every year now, right?
Yeah.
Because, and it's just ridiculous because it's the same thing every time, and you have these people that are like, "Oh my God, it's just oh my God," and I have friends in other countries, and they're like, man, what the hell's the matter with you guys over there? Why don't you guys vote these guys out or do something different or go on strike? Like, you know, and I think that we're getting close.
I do
I
too.
think that
I
we're
mean,
actually getting close.
the majority of people that I have spoken to, like the mass mainstream media propaganda still has them afraid of the government.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I forget who the quote is from. However, people shouldn't be afraid of their government. Government should be afraid of their
Yeah.
people.
That's
And
right. That's
like
exactly right.
in America today, they promote the ideology that we don't have to have revolutions. We can change everything with our vote. Well, I want to say that that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, no
Especially
kidding.
when,
Look at
especially when the Democrats and the Republicans both join forces to purge other parties off the ballot,
like
to
us.
challenge them in court so that they can't be on the ballot, to make the hurdles that we have to jump through or over so difficult that you can't get on the ballot. I mean, so
Right.
far, I think we have, okay, in the state of Nevada, we need 10,685 signatures to get on the ballot. Now, our goal is to have 20,000 signatures. We have
Because
until
of the ones
June
that they
3rd
throw
of
out.
2024 to get those signatures,
Yeah.
when it would be just so much easier to say, we're a political party. We can prove we're a political party, and we have candidates to run. So why not just let us be on the ballot? And keep in
we
mind,
had one.
we have open primaries in Nevada now. And
Which is awesome.
well, yes, but hang on.
And
We voted for ranked choice voting, okay?
yes,
but in order
that's
to
what I
get
was going to
ranked
say.
choice voting in the state of Nevada, we have to vote for it again. One more time, which gives them time to institute it into our state constitution, so that it stays. It's like women's rights, right to bodily autonomy is written into the Nevada state constitution. So women can seek out medical pregnancy termination. Right. And the reason I say it like that is because, again, propagandists made it into a bad word. If I want to terminate my pregnancy, damn well better believe I'm going to. By any means necessary. Hopefully medically safe.
It's a human issue.
In the state of Nevada, you have the legal right to terminate your pregnancy. So
that's good. That's
we're
good
hoping
because
that we get ranked choice voting too.
Yeah. How is that looking right now? Because I remember when we got that passed, I was still living in Nevada at that point. And I was really proud of that because that was a lot of stuff that I was talking to people every day about. You got to vote for this. You got to put this in. You got to sign this. You got to,
Yeah, it's looking good. The thing is that there are, again, mainstream propaganda is sending emails and, oh, don't do ranked choice voting. Oh, it's scary. Oh, it's this. And we need more than just ranked choice voting. However, I will settle for that to begin with.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm happy
And
with
you
the
know,
open
it's really,
primaries.
yeah, it's really funny how they use that to scare people. And to me now, it's really obvious who's actually scared, right?
Yeah,
They're doing that. They're saying that because they are actually feeling threatened that they're losing their hooks on us, right?
yeah,
They're doing things like they ban Lee Camp because he actually has a coherent message of facts, and people who actually know a thing or two about a thing or two, they're going after Russell Brand for the same reason, and they're using the same tactic that they used with I can't even say his name because of, right, you know, and the reason why is because they're scared,
yeah.
because there's too much accurate truth, and they're like, oh crap, he opened that closet and all our shit is coming out, you know.
Yeah.
And yet people still, because we've been so pounded by this crap, right? We've been so pounded by it that it's still, for a lot of people, it freaks them out. Freaks them out. But,
I have a client who shall remain nameless. When I asked her to sign the petition, she said, to get us on the ballot. At first she said no. And I said, don't you want more parties on the ballot? And she said, yes. And I said, then go ahead and sign the petition. And she said,
yeah,
it's not going to change my party registration, is it? No, you need a voter
no,
registration form for that.
yeah,
Stop being afraid.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
she told me that I've been indoctrinated.
You've been
No, I've been
unindoctrinated.
indoctrinated since I know the things that I know, and I've been watching this for a long time.
Yeah,
And watching what happened and what goes on and so on and so forth. You know, why would I side with the oppressor? Why? For what reason?
exactly. Exactly. Well, because that's what we always do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's what.
I've been
But
indoctrinated now.
we have a two-party system. This is what we always do. We just do
But
this. We
okay,
just
like I'm from California. I was born and raised in California. Moved here when I was 33. I'm about to be 63, so I've been here for 30 years. Okay, in
yeah,
California, just about every party under the sun is on the ballot. Why can't
yeah,
we have that here?
yeah,
And everywhere.
and everywhere, and like, which brings me to what I was shocked, actually, and somewhat also not shocked, and I'll get to that. But so, for those of you who don't know, Cornell West was running as a Green Party candidate. Okay. He had the former candidates, Jill Stein and Baraka, were both his advisors, his campaign advisors. Out of nowhere, one day, he decides he's going to hire Peter Dow. Now, for those of you who don't know who Peter Dow is, he is the mastermind behind creating things like terms like Bernie Bros and totally disenfranchising the Bernie Sanders campaign and slamming us all on media with like a bunch of terms like that: Bernie Bros, basement dwellers, all of this stuff, right? And so then he goes later and says, well, I've had a change of heart, yada, yada, yada. He worked on, what was it, Baraka's campaign last time that he was on, or was it just Jill Stein? And he totally tanked it. And then out of nowhere, Dr. West decides, okay, I'm going to hire, I don't know the whole thing because I kind of like.
I do.
And so anyways, and then not even 2 weeks later, he drops out of the Green Party and says he's going to run as independent now. And I'm like thinking, dude, you don't even know how hard it is. I watched these guys on Hard Lens Media, And they're like, the state of Chicago, it is almost impossible for independent. You had a better shot with the Green Party. And there's a lot of states like that. So you already had an uphill battle. Now you're going uphill with a ton of rocks and you're barefoot. So that's beyond me. So like, yeah, there's a lot of work to do. I was wondering why Nevada can't get that way too. And then I hear about other states, because obviously when you're a co-chair, you talk to other people and you find out all this stuff. And so
well,
yeah, what is your take on all?
Also.
Oh, so awesome.
I'm a national delegate to GPUS.
Congratulations.
Not really.
You're busy.
Not really.
I know.
I do a lot of reading. I don't do a lot of talking. They're having a mock proposal discussion right now to show the new delegates how it's done. Just wait till they get to a real one. That's going to be fun.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to sit back with popcorn and watch. But now, the way that this happened was Chris Hedges, whom is the person I really wish would run for the Green Party nomination. Because,
me too.
Exactly. He's got it all.
Me too.
But I wish he would run. But when he found out that Cornell West was running for the People's Party, he called his friend, Chris calls his friend Cornell and says, dude, have you heard about Nick Brana? Do you know about him? Yeah. Kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, but he arranged a meeting with Ajamu Baraka and with Jill Stein. And then he stepped away, and I guess Jill and Ajamu talked Cornell into running for the Green Party. Now, a little back stuff here too. When Cornell announced, the day that Cornell announced he was running for the Green Party, Nick Brana went to the FEC and registered him as the People's Party candidate to further muddy the waters and make things difficult. It took them, I think, almost 2 weeks to clear that mess up. We had several people who left their state party positions in Texas to help with the website and to help with the funding. In the meantime, Nick Brana was demanding that he get at least half of the funding that the Green Party was going to get from donations.
Jeez, awfully Democrat of you.
It was already, a cluster, in the meantime, right, because I got excited, everybody in our state party got excited, we finally have a candidate who could actually win. Yeah. We had, now in our bylaws, it doesn't say anything about when we can have our convention. We can pretty much have it anytime we want. And in the US bylaws, it doesn't say when people can have their convention, at least state parties. And so, we had our convention, we picked our delegates, and we supported Cornell West. Well, we can't support him anymore because he's not a Green Party member. I don't want to, I personally, I have to bring this to the voting members, but I personally do not want to do what they did to Ralph Nader, which was to draft him and have people, nominate him, even though he wasn't a Green Party member, because that's what happened to Ralph Nader. I would like to see somebody who's been a Green Party member for at least 10 years and who has their act together come forward.
Sounds like Chris Hedges to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like Chris Hedges to me.
He's a wonderful human being, and I love that he has
so intelligent.
His father's a minister, and he has he has the pulpit voice. He could talk to people. I don't know that necessarily Chris wants to run, but I could see him, and I can understand
I could see him
want to run.
Yeah, I could see him doing it. And but as far as like if I was going to get into all the likelihood of winning, it was Cornell West, and now it's like I'm almost like because of all of this craziness and switching up and the whole Peter Dow effect and all of that, it really makes me question on, will I jump on board with Claudia de la Cruz? unless somebody like Chris Hedges was to jump in, right? You know what I mean?
Yes, no, I know exactly what you mean, but I have to say something, okay?
Yeah.
It was 2020 when I first became a delegate to national.
Yep.
And in the first, I want to say maybe, I was getting my feet wet. I was learning what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to do it, because, they have instructions, but nobody told me to go read them until 3 weeks down the line. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
I think you just got delegate right about when I had to step down.
Yeah.
I think you had just won that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was appointed. But I was appointed, and then I became co-chair, and then anyway, well, and then there was this secret meeting going on in the steering committee with Peter Dow. And to this day in national, no one will talk about it. But what happened, what I read, I wasn't in the meetings. I don't know. I'm not on the steering committee, and I don't want to be.
Right.
But what happened was the steering committee members were having executive sessions with Peter Dow, hammering out a contract. And from the leaked stories that I heard from different people who are, two people, I think, who were on the steering committee, was that they were hammering out a deal for promotions that would affect all the affiliated state parties also. I want you to think about that for a minute. Each and every state party is an entity unto itself. Okay, we mirror GPUS, but we have our own laws and our own, like in the state of Nevada, prostitution is legal. Okay, we have brothels here, and I'm a proponent of brothels. I support the prostitutes or sex workers, or whatever they want to call themselves. I support them. And I believe that it's one of the best venues that they could have, to be in a brothel, to be protected, to have to use condoms, to have to, have medical attention at least once a month, if not more. Okay. All that being said. But each and every state is different. And even though we all mirror GPUS, our bylaws are different and address our state issues. And then we send a delegate to advocate for whatever. Okay, so here I am, Nevada delegate to GPUS, and there's this meeting going on that nobody knows anything about. Now, we're decentralized, and a lot of people have forgotten that what decentralized means is I take the issues from GPUS to my voting members who are Green Party members in the Nevada, in Nevada, and they vote on it. And we vote on it. Whatever they say, I go back, and that's the way I vote.
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of people have forgotten this. In the meantime, they're trying to put somebody in charge in a top-down position to tell us what to do.
Delegate. Yeah.
And of course, I got very angry about that. And
that was, what I see that kind of stuff as? That is, to me, it reeks of somebody infiltrating the party to make it just like the Democratic Party. You know what I mean?
I only have rumors to report to you about who it was, but I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to get sued. However, I will say this, okay? We learned about the contract on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. The entirety of National was up in arms and demanding to know what the contract was.
Sure.
On Sunday night at around midnight, the contract was signed. And the very next day, the contract was broken. Now, it's rumored that Peter Dow walked away with a severance check.
I'm sure.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Right.
Has it. But to this day, no one will put the contract in National so that the delegates can see it.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's not good.
Wait, no. I have more. I have more. Okay, so years later, or not years later, but here comes the Biden administration, and all of a sudden, the steering committee, using GPUS media, official media are promoting or endorsing a vaccine mandate. Now, for everyone's information, National did not vote on that. There is no consensus of anything. There were 3 proposals that came across in National. One that the Nevada Green Party co-sponsored from the National Black Caucus, the Green Party Black Caucus, that were shot down one at a time. The third one was written by the steering committee members themselves, promoting vaccine mandates, making it sound nice and sweet, and like a commercial where, here, take your medicine, and it's really, don't take that. And when they found out that their proposal was failing, they pulled it. And
funny how that happens, isn't it?
The steering committee members who wrote that proposal have since resigned. From my knowledge, to my knowledge, there's only one steering committee member left that was a part of the vaccine mandate statement. And they are still not willing to come forward with the contract, but they'll come forward in a Twitter message with it. Okay, so National's not allowed to know, but it's in Twitter messages, so you can go promote it. No, I'm not going to, the Twitter messages that I was in when that came across, I was like, I'm out. I don't even want to talk to you. I didn't even know you were here. And now that I do know, I want nothing to do with you. Nothing.
Right. Man, that is, see, I kind of, I tuned out. I had so much other medical and family stuff going on. I needed to step away. And I kind of realized that, like I said earlier, when we focus on the problem expands when we focus. But that to me just reeks of infiltration, trying to make the Green Party become what it's not. And the very aspect of how it's decentralized is it's the healthiest political party. I don't know how they run with the party that Claudia de la Cruz is running in, but I have an idea that it's fairly the same, right? Which is, to me, it's kind of like a...
They just don't have the ballot access that we do.
Exactly. Because they don't have the... Now, maybe this will help bolster that. I don't know. Because for someone like me,
decided to become a Green Party member, then she would have the backing of the Green Party. We've had dual party members before. I mean, for instance, Howie Hawkins is a member of DSA and also a Green Party member.
Right.
So
now, bringing that up, has anybody reached out to her campaign? Has anybody said, hey, why don't you run as a dual and we'll back you 100% because now we have room and we like you?
Why would GPUS do that?
I don't know. We don't have...
Okay, the state parties are run pretty well for being decentralized. They're really run really well. GPUS has a tendency to go off on tangents every once in a while in National. I'm sure you saw them. So when I came in, they were disaffiliating Alaska. You saw that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. That was I really, when I stepped down, I really had a hard time stepping down because I knew that we had work to do.
Yeah.
And I was and it really affected me. And I still feel that way, know, because the system that we have right now is not healthy. We're getting our entire society is getting attacked, not only emotionally, but mentally and spiritually is the most confusing part, because a lot of people still don't understand that we're limitless spiritual beings living in a limited human existence. And so talking to them like that, it doesn't work. They have to come to that on their own. Right.
Yeah.
But the healthiest organization so far as politics go really is the Green Party structure.
Yes, I agree. Well, originally right? When politics was invented in America, they were the people who were elected to office were actually representing their constituents. They were trying to,
Right.
but not
Yeah.
like the Green Party does now. They
Right.
didn't go back and say, what do you think? They would go back and talk to their peers and, what would be best and so on and so forth. And then they go, and vote on stuff. Well, we're trying to do that. We're trying, I'm trying to be a
Yeah.
good representative. There's a lot
Yeah.
of superfluous information that goes through national that I'm not going to bother the state party with because,
It's
why stress
pointless.
them out?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So now we have absolutely no candidate running for the Green Party. Cornell West
We have
is
time
up
yet. We do
against.
have time.
Yeah, I know. So what do you see? What is our battle now? Like the little battles, the stuff like making sure that ranked choice voting happens in Nevada and other states that are trying for the same thing, right?
Yes.
Continuing to get people more at least aware, which is why I'm really glad that you were able to come on, because a lot of people, they just don't know enough, right? They don't have any idea about any of this stuff, right? They don't truly understand why we need people to sign those signatures out in front of the post office or in front of Safeway or wherever. Sometimes I remember they don't even allow us.
Yeah,
Like I can remember,
not out here.
yeah.
Not out here. They will let somebody okay. They will not let any political parties onto, at least where I live, onto the Walmart parking lot, the Smith's parking lot, or the Albertsons parking lot, which
Yeah.
makes it very difficult. I don't know if the
Yeah.
DMV will allow us to come up there. I don't even know if the library will, because before the library would allow you to register voters, and so
Yeah.
would the DMV.
And it would seem like the post office and the library should allow everybody representing some sort of political
I could go in
thing.
front of the post office across the street on the sidewalk, which is considered, public commons, and I could sit down there with a table and a chair,
Mhm.
and as people drive by, you want to register to vote? Hey, come
Right.
over,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
post office, no, it's government property, and since the
And they
laws
do
have
not
changed,
want.
yeah,
Yep. And they do
no,
not
they don't
want
want
to.
Okay, I want to quote my historian, Andrea Warslow. Her thing
Mhm.
is more voices and more choices, and that's what we're
That's
trying
right.
to offer the public.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell
We
people,
make,
look.
okay, just as you mentioned Trump earlier. Okay, he did two
Yeah.
good things. All right.
Yeah.
Now the Green Party proper is in favor of universal basic income, and who
Right.
proved we could have it? Trump. Now keep in mind, I am
Right.
not a Trump supporter by any means at all.
Right.
Okay. As a matter of fact,
But
at the very sound of
but
his
we
voice,
have to.
my hair hurt. Okay.
But we have to. That's the whole thing about being a conscious human being, is that we can applaud him. Well, let's not say applaud, but we can acknowledge something that is actually a win for the people, and still be vehemently opposed to the man as both a human being and as a political option, because a conscious society, there's just no room for anyone like that, and there's no room for anyone like Biden or anyone, because you can see through
I gotta say
it's
this.
almost like
I think that okay, Trump probably would have been a more well-respected and good president if he had just shut up.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And where Biden, I mean, like my favorite thing to say is we had one who made up words, and now we have one who can't finish a sentence.
Right. And neither of them
are for the people.
Yeah.
They're for the corporations. They're for making money. They're for,
that's right.
I get people telling me all the time, how Biden has changed. He offered to prostitute himself. I guess it was in 1980 to remove Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
or one or the other, or possibly both. But, there's video recordings of him saying these things, and people say to me, well, people change. No, he hasn't changed. Okay, he's made no
He's
effort
gotten
to change.
worse.
Yes, exactly. He's gotten quite
And
a bit worse.
that's the other thing. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. And we got so far off is like, people don't understand. We're so confused and so, manipulated by our emotions. Like, most people don't realize that when Biden said nothing will fundamentally change,
He meant it.
nothing did. And as a matter of fact, he actually bolstered many of Trump's policies. The only thing that changed was, like, people started calling him a communist and a socialist. And I'm just like, man, it's embarrassing, because my country doesn't even know what those things really are. They don't understand that the closest thing that this planet has ever seen to communism was actually Native American tribal system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked until we came and fucked it up.
Okay, well, I like to tell people or ask people just one simple question when they say I'm not a socialist. I ask them, do you have a Social Security card? Guess what? You are a card-carrying socialist.
Basically, yeah, but it's like that's where our country leaves it, and we're working harder and harder every day to make sure that definition gets more and more clouded, stretched out, obfuscated, and completely redone and turned into
revised.
Like, people think, oh, well, Hitler was a socialist. And it's like, no, Hitler had a t-shirt that said he was a socialist. He didn't have anything else but that t-shirt.
No, he was a fascist.
You know what I mean? Yeah, straight up, which is what we are now. And it's really, and so what's next? What do you think? What can we do to kind of help continue this on a broader level and help people to kind of wake up and kind of get to that point where they can sort of, like, that seed starts to grow?
What I have been doing to promote an awakening. I'm not going to say woke, because that's a bad word now. But what I have been doing to promote, people awakening is cartoon memes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm talking to them in person. They get angry with me.
Yeah.
I get angry. I'm usually pretty level when, like, there are certain things that you could talk to me about. If you were against them, you would see me get very, very angry, very, very fast. And then I would bury you with words. And, because I do that well. But I don't want people to be angry at me, and I don't want to get angry myself. I just want them to figure it out on their own. And you have to, I spent years on myself to make myself better. And each and every day, I still try and make myself a better person. I try and keep an open mind, because there might be something out there that I want to learn, and I may have, wrong information,
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So like I hate Twitter. I have to tell you, I hate Twitter. But
I don't like any of it.
I'm on Blue Sky now too. So, and Mastodon, and actually I'm on probably every social media platform known to man. And you can find me as @TurboKitty. However, the thing on Twitter is that, since the advent of Elon, there's some propaganda coming through, a lot of propaganda coming through, but also a lot of truth. And my thing is, I watch the videos. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the live videos are usually the ones where you're going to get, most of your truth. I watch independent media. I do not watch mainstream media. I'm a cord cutter. I've been, the cord has been cut for almost 25 years now.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
listen to
one of the things. Yeah. One of the things that I tell people is, the way to start to recognize truth is to, number one, when you start feeling like you're getting angry or agitated at a group of people or somebody or something, then it's time to like stop and go like clear your thoughts, right? Because for a lot of us, we have lived in survival mode. I am right now. I'm practically like, man, I'm so close to homelessness. It's ridiculous. And to be able to clear your mind and understand what are my actual thoughts and my beliefs and my feelings, right? And understanding that if I'm reading something that seems to be targeting one way or the other too much, right? It's probably a little heavy on the propaganda side, and it's probably to push an agenda that might get me to feel one way, but it's going to have an adverse effect down the road, right?
Yeah.
And so by being able to understand that we need to find that spiritual balance within us, not the religious one, but the spiritual one. And it doesn't matter if you're like into the Christ God or Buddha or whatever, right? That you can kind of slowly, and it takes, like you just said, work on yourself. Because over time, you start to be able to, like, you can feel when something's true, you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like it's got a vibration to it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
But we've got
I want to tell you something. You know, you mentioned Christ and Buddha and whatever else. You know, I came to this, I drew this conclusion, I want to say probably 10 years ago. We have all those religions out there telling us you have to believe in God, you have to believe in God. No, you don't. You don't.
No.
Okay. And the reason I say you don't is everybody operates on the same electrical impulses. Okay. You know, everything has some kind of electricity in it or whatever. And what the conclusion that drew me to is you don't have to believe in any God. Okay. Pretty much the God spark is in everyone. God believes in you. So you don't have to.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
Right. It's in everything. It doesn't matter if it's like this container of fruit or this whatever it is that I've been bending off camera for 45 minutes. Yeah, right. Anything that has a vibration has some sort of a life signature in it, whether we understand it or not.
Wait, hold on. I have a scientific term for you. Everything has a rate of decay, and the rate of decay is based on what the electricity in it is. It's movement.
That's right.
It's animation.
That's right.
So,
and so by coming to that, you know, as people become more aware of that and they start to be aware that, you know, if I'm focused on buying bullets, then I'm going to create a situation that requires more bullets. If I have in my mind a situation where I see more peace and love and people getting along, I'm going to attract that around me. Right. And I'm going to start having conversations like that. And I'm going to start finding ways to do it. Right. And that's why I got attracted to the Green Party in the first place. You know, I can't remember how many years ago. And then when Bernie came around, I was like, oh, yeah, finally, you know. And then about halfway through, I started to see the writing on the wall. And man, I remember getting called all kinds of names because I was like, you guys, he's selling us out. He's not calling her out on the debates, you know, and same with Tulsi. They were all just
we need a real person to run for office that has no children, no wife, and no relatives that they care about so that they cannot be threatened, so that they can just stand up.
Exactly. That's, you know what, that is what I think it boils down to, honestly. Because if you've got something that they can threaten, or if you've got something in the closet, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
You have to have somebody who's willing to come forward that has no price.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll be running then.
Cool. I like that. I wanted to answer your original question. You asked me, what do I see next? I'm bringing the train into the station now.
Nice.
I would love to see a peaceful revolution. However, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, keep visualizing
wait,
it.
I'm not done. I'm so not done.
Okay.
Right now, because of what's going on in Ukraine, because of what's going on in the government and how we want to challenge Russia, we want to challenge China, now we want to challenge Iran, and the
Haiti.
stupid talking points coming out of the Democratic Party about how, well, Trump leaked the information to Putin and Putin gave it to Iran. And I'm sorry, brown people aren't smart enough to figure this shit out on their own.
Right. No, go for it.
Okay. I mean, they're not smart enough. Seriously, I'm apologizing for the 4-letter word. But I got, passionate.
It's okay. Yeah. That's good.
Well, I'm trying to remain professional. Anyway, okay, brown people can't figure it out because, white people are so much smarter. Oh, really? Really? Okay, yeah, whatever. They're not. I refuse to believe any of that stuff. I want us all to be equal and on equal footing, regardless of, class, color, sexual orientation, origin. Okay, we all need to be equal. That's what decentralization is all about.
That's right.
But because of this, I see a violent revolution. And, sadly, it's not like I'm trying to put that out there. I'm really not. I would like to see a peaceful revolution. The last peaceful revolution that I saw, I watched on Twitter before it became the hellhole that it is today. That 4-letter word is acceptable.
Right.
With the Egyptian Spring, I watched the people march up with flowers to put in front of the fountain, and saw the guards from the whatever it's some kind of mansion. They were up in the turrets and on the balconies and whatnot, and they were gunning them down with weapons that were made and manufactured in America.
In here, yeah.
And
well,
we've got a fence around the White House now. Trump put up that that cast iron fence.
I would
Nobody
say
can get
this.
in there.
I would say this.
Like that. I've been to DC.
Yeah, I know.
I actually have a selfie with a CIA operative. He let me take a picture with him.
And he even disclosed who he was?
Oh, yes. He wasn't undercover.
I don't think they care anymore. Yeah, I don't think they care anymore.
Well,
honestly, I don't think they care.
1994 when this happened. But, there was no fence. There was no nothing. He was, he was in front of the White House, and he was in his uniform. Because they have uniforms, amazingly enough. They're not all undercover. And I said, so who do you work for? And he said, the CIA. And I said, can I have a picture? And he said, sure. He didn't take his glasses off, so.
Yeah. So I would say this, though. I would say, number one, we speak into reality whatever we want, right? So even if you struggle to see a peaceful revolution, start reframing that and not saying that it's going to be this or that or the other thing. Put the energy out. This is what I've been trying to do too, because I
visualize all the time a peaceful revolution where there aren't, where nobody gets hurt.
They put where people, I just picture that it comes a day when the military on both sides just say, what the fuck, you do it yourself. We're putting our stuff down and we're going home, right? Because I do feel like there is a vibration of that coming. Right. Yeah. Like you can feel like people are tired. They're really starting to, even if they don't admit it and they're acting like, oh, we got to do this and that and the other thing and act tough and stuff. Inside, there's something else stirring right now. And I really do believe that this is possible to do without ever firing a shot. Right. I agree. It's going to take literally all of us. And we're going to have to put aside everyone, like people who think that they need to be anti-abortion, people who think that they need to be anti-this, people that need to think that they need to be pro this or pro that. Put it all aside and just be like, you know what? We are for each other, period. End of story, and do things like, come up with a pact large enough. Now, how we go about it, I don't know, because, the social media is so screwed up. So like, I've been thinking, like, what do we do? Fire up an actual press?
Social media is supposed to be screwed up. I think one of the reasons that Twitter was sold was to divide us, split us up. Because like I said, I'm on Blue Sky and I'm on Twitter and I'm on Mastodon and I'm, all these other places. Well, and we can use that to our advantage.
Yes, we can. We just have to, number one, it's like with everything. It's like with any improving of ourselves, and that's how we have to look at it. Is like we have to make that decision, and then we have to do it no matter what every day, right? Yeah. And then we just have to stay the course, which is why I talk about things like the unions, right? Get the union heads starting to talk and be like, okay, so we can do this, and maybe we can give out 2 or 3 sacks of groceries to every household every week, and like nobody's charged anything, right? And we keep the basic stuff running, but there's not a dollar exchanged for any of it.
Okay, wait. I want to tell you something, okay? When COVID and lockdown happened, I had this idea in my head, what the most wonderful use of our public servants could have been was delivering medicine, delivering groceries, that kind of thing. And
exactly.
What did we have instead?
Yep. Totally. Well, it was awesome. I'm glad that you came. Well, obviously, you're going to have to come back on. We're already over an hour. It flew by.
You want me. I wanted to say one other thing before you close. I wanted to say one other thing. Yeah. Okay.
Well, stay on after because it's got to finish the upload.
Yeah. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm watching it uploading on my side too. But I wanted to say the one thing to the Zionists. We are all chosen, or none of us are.
That's right.
We all have the same God spark. That's the first thing. The other thing I wanted to say is we need to stop supporting Ukrainian Nazis. My parents, my uncle, my aunt, my other uncle, they all fought in World War II. Okay? They fought against Nazism. There is no nicer, gentler Nazi. There just isn't.
Nope.
So, stop promoting that. It's propaganda. Nazis are Nazis. Yep. Okay, I'm done.
And the other thing is, if you don't understand what that is, educate yourself. Educate yourself.
Please.
And just remember, we are all connected.
Yes.
So, all right. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Please hit like, share, subscribe. Send me an email, message in the comments, people you'd like to see, stuff like that. I will read your comments. Also, there is always posted the donation page for the Startup Fund for World Environmental Solutions. That is my soil and environmental company that I'm trying to get going. And every dollar is greatly appreciated. And with that, I will say see you guys later. And thank you for tuning in.